This is Andrew Hetzler with American Exchange. Just want to create a little video to run through the ACA assessment for 2019. So we have changed the URL, the website for the 2019 ACA assessment. So if you see here at the top of the screen, that URL is going to be americanexchange.com/Miami-Dade 2019. Okay, so americanexchange.com/Miami-Dade 2019. It is a new URL. We want to kind of make sure that nobody goes to the 2018 assessment because we are kind of moving to a new system for 2019. So in case people are used to going to the 2018 site, we've put a big red button here that'll hopefully stop people from going to the 2018 ACA assessment. Coming back to the 2019 site, you'll see the Miami-Dade County logo followed by the Part A program acknowledgement. So make sure that you read through that. A big red button to proceed to the assessment. There's some links here at the bottom, healthcare.gov see plans. So if you want to go look at the rates and plans that are available in Miami-Dade County, if you want to assist your client with plan selection and know the plans, you can do research and gather information on the health plans that are available through that site. Just a reminder, don't complete an application through healthcare.gov. That's something we'll take care of for your client. Moving down is the Miami-Dade hotline, so you're welcome to call in and ask questions. Check on assessments, any kind of customer service needs can be handled through this Miami-Dade hotline. Be sure to dial this direct number. The agents picking up this particular number are trained on the Miami-Dade process. Okay, so the local program processes, the people who pick that up are going to understand the needs of your caller, your client. The fax number there and a link to this video. But let's go ahead and jump into the 2019 ACA assessment. Click this big red button and it'll take you to the assessment. Okay. There aren't that many changes from the 2018 assessment to the 2019 assessment. Really one of the big changes is there will be no more Part A funding for premium assistance. Part A will still perform wrap services. However, there will be no premium payments made by Part A. Everybody will be paid through ADAP. So when we look at the enrollment status dropdown, we have a couple options. A new client is someone who has not had a marketplace health plan. So they're kind of new to the marketplace. Second option here is renewal ADAP. So these are clients that were in ADAP for 2018 and who are renewing their plan for 2019. Third option is a 2018 Part A transition to ADAP for 2019. So if you know a client was specifically covered by Part A in 2018 but will be moving to ADAP for 2019, those clients would be indicated here. And then if you have a client that's self-pay, so not in the ADAP program, you will want to indicate here that they're renewal self-pay. There's a little bit of verbiage here on the different options. So if you're confused at all, there should be a little hints down here. The next field is the date of the ADAP enrollment. We want to make sure that everybody's enrolled in ADAP before they complete this assessment. So the date of the ADAP enrollment, so we just want to make sure that the client's enrolled in ADAP. So provide the date that the client was enrolled in the ADAP program. Okay, and then today's date would be the date that you're completing the assessment. If you have any 2018 information on the carrier that your client had last year, if they're a renewal, that is helpful. So if you know that they were with Florida Blue, Humana, or Molina, that would be helpful for us as we try to renew the client. If you know their member ID or what plan they had, please provide as much information as you can. None of this is mandatory though, so you can skip right through that if you don't know your client's 2018 information. Getting down to the basic applicant information, we've got the client's basic information. So a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. We want a first name and a last name. If you want to clarify what the client's name is on their Social Security card, there's a drop down here for space for a little bit more detail on the client's name as it appears on their Social Security card. So if it is different from the first and last name that you put there, please provide their full name. Address, city, state, zip, county, phone number, Social Security number, gender, and date of birth are all required fields. The email is optional. The marketplace does not require an email. If you have the client's email, that is helpful. Tobacco use here is a radio button. So if your client is not a tobacco user, leave it unchecked. Okay, if you check it, we're going to consider them to be a tobacco user. Okay, so unchecked is no tobacco, checked is for tobacco. The next required section is information about yourself, your agency, and the client's CIS number. So if you can provide the CIS number, agency ID, agency name, your phone number, and your email. Those are all required fields here. Moving down to the household information, we want to get data on any clients that are on the client's tax return or who are also seeking coverage. Okay, so if they're married, you want to include any spouse. If they claim any dependents, you want to include them. You want to include any dependent parents that your clients may be taking care of. Those are considered tax dependents in this situation. So we want anybody who shows up on the client's tax return to be listed as part of their household. Okay, so none of this is required information. However, if you do have a spouse that is seeking coverage and also covered under ADAP, we do need their full set of information, first, last, date of birth, gender, and Social Security number. Okay. Here again, you have the tobacco use, and this button is going to be important. If they are seeking coverage, you want to select that this client is seeking coverage. Okay. If they're self-pay, you would just leave the rest of it like that. But if they're currently receiving ADAP or Part A assistance and are enrolled for ADAP, you would select that here and then enter their CIS number in this field. So if you do have clients that are married, both are covered under ADAP. I know we have a handful of those every year. You would want to include their CIS number in this field so that we know that they're covered under ADAP as well. Okay, so there's space here for more household members, and let's see here, more space for information on clients that are receiving ADAP. So if their name is different than the first two names, kind of like the basic information section. If you need more information, if you need more fields to provide the correct name, that is down here. So if you also know what plan that the spouse would like, you can enter that here. So if you do have a spouse that is on a separate plan, typically we have them on the same plan, or we would suggest that this year, since everybody's going to be in ADAP, we can put them both in the same plan if they're both enrolled and eligible for premium assistance. So you're willing to put that information here. We also have a space for you to select a time for an American Exchange agent to reach out to the client to discuss the plan. Okay, so if you do have a spouse that's not covered that would also like assistance with marketplace enrollment, please put their information in this section. And there's some language here about what this specific section is for. Moving on down to the income information, the form does require at least one type of income for the assessment to be complete. Even if that's zero income, it needs to be completed here. But the first drop down is the income type. So these are the types of income that are listed on the marketplace application. Typically, you're dealing with salary, wages, tips, and commissions. So that would be your standard W-2 wage employee. The next most frequent is self-employment income. So if your client is 1099 or self-employed, you'd indicate that here. There are some other types less frequent. Social Security disability. If you have a client that's on Social Security disability, make sure that they're not on Medicare already. So after 18 months of Social Security disability, you're automatically enrolled in Medicare. So there's no need for them to be on an ACA plan if they're on Medicare benefits. Social Security, retirement, unemployment benefits, alimony received, all count as income for a marketplace application. VA pension, private retirement pension, all count as well. Then you want to come over here and list the income earner. So most of the time you're selecting that the applicant is the income earner. However, if they're married or have another income earner in their tax household, you can select that the spouse is the one earning, or the child or dependent parent. So here you can just select applicant or whoever the income earner is. Then we want to, if you can, provide an estimated gross amount for 2019. Okay, so we'd like to have an annual number in here, but you do have the option of putting in a different frequency. So if you know their monthly income or biweekly or weekly income, you can enter that as well. Annual is preferred, but then we go to the name of the employer or the nature of the self-employment. So, nature of self-employment can be anything from, painter or, any kind of information relating to what they do for self-employment. If they are employed directly, salary, wages, tips, and commission, please provide the name of their employer. If there are multiple income earners, you can list this here. So if the spouse is earning, you can list the income information about the spouse. You can also list two types of income for the applicant. So if the applicant is maybe self-employed but works part-time somewhere, you could list each of those incomes for the applicant. And that's how we'd prefer, try not to lump all the income together if there are 2 or 3 types. So list out each income type for your client or for the members in the household who are earning income. Moving down to the tax information, one of the required fields here is the 2019 tax filing status. So remember that you have to file taxes to get a tax credit. Okay, so we need to know what type of tax filing status they plan to file in 2019. Okay, if they're married and filing separately, the client's not going to be eligible for a tax credit. Okay, that doesn't mean they can't get a health insurance plan. They can certainly enroll in a health insurance plan. They're just not going to be eligible for any tax credit that goes to reduce the premium. So remember, any married filing separately, clients are not going to be eligible for a tax credit. Additionally, we want to know if the client plans to file taxes for 2019. So again, you have to file taxes to get a tax credit. If you don't file taxes, that is okay. You can still get a health insurance plan. Similar to married filing separately, you can still get a health insurance plan, just not with a tax credit. Okay. Some additional questions about if the client provided their 2017 federal income tax return or proof of extension, and if they got any money back on their 8962. If you have that information, please provide the amount that they received as an additional refund in line 26 of the 8962. Here is a space to upload any proof of income. Okay, so if you have the client's proof of income, whether it's a pay stub or their 2017 tax return, you're welcome to file that here. And what this will do is just go to your computer's file locator, and you can choose the client's file to upload. The files will come through on our system with the assessments. So what's good about this is if there is a data mismatch and the client's asked to provide income, we can provide that right away. So if you have that information, that's very helpful. For lists of acceptable types of income, there's a link here to healthcare.gov that'll provide you with different types of income for different types of filing or different types of income. So that's a good resource if you have questions about what to upload. Next is the citizenship or immigration status information. So there's a lot of clients that are non-U.S. citizens that are covered by ADAP in Miami-Dade County. So this section is pretty important. You have the option, it's a mandatory field, to select if they're a citizen or non-citizen, then their type of documentation if they are a non-citizen. Okay, so you're welcome to select the type, provide all the information from the card or from the documentation, or you can simply upload any image or PDF file of that client's documentation. If you can provide the front and back of the card or of the certificate of naturalization or whatever that document is, we can make sure that the marketplace application is done correctly. So again, you can just click here on this choose file and upload the client's citizenship proof. Okay, and again, here's a link for the types of documentation. Okay, so if there's any question about what type of documentation is required, you can go to this site, all through healthcare.gov, to get information on that. Some other final kind of other questions that are required. Typically, these are all no, but it is helpful for us to get a firm answer from you. If the client's an Alaskan Native or Native American, they're going to be eligible for different plans and different enrollment process. If anyone in the client's tax household is offered coverage through an employer, we'd like to know that information, since if you're offered coverage through an employer, you're usually not eligible for a tax credit. So if the answer is yes, we're going to enroll that client without a tax credit, so that they don't have any big tax liability at the end of the year. Additionally, the rule still stands that even if someone else in your tax household is offered coverage through their employer, it restricts the entire household from getting a tax credit. So even if your client's spouse has employer-sponsored coverage, no one in the household is eligible for a tax credit. Okay, so important question there. Finally, is the client or any other female household applicant currently pregnant? This is a question for Medicaid. So if there are any pregnant females on the application, they're usually eligible for Medicaid immediately when the application is submitted. So I'd like to know that information as well. Finally, we're getting to the prescription drug information. So what we need to know is the prescription drug name, the dosage, and the CIS number related to that prescription. So if there's two clients, list the CIS number and each prescription that they're taking. We want to make sure that their prescriptions are covered by the health plan. Additionally, we want to know what doctors your clients are seeing, so that we can make sure that those doctors are in network. This is preferred hospital, preferred pharmacy, their primary care doctor, an HIV or ID specialist, and then any other specialist that the client may see for any other comorbidity or whatever they're seeking coverage for. We like to know how often they go to each of these providers, and then if you have a phone number, that's helpful. One of the things that we do with that phone number is just call the provider to check to see if they're in that network. So typically we'll search the client on on each of the networks, and if they were not showing up for some reason, to confirm that, we'll call the provider. If it shows up, great, it's in network. If it doesn't, we try to confirm that they're not accepting that plan, just because confirming that can be an important part of of the enrollment process, the plan selection process. Some other information: has the client been hospitalized in the last 12 months? Are they at risk of hospitalization in the next 12 months? Do they have any major procedure within the next 12 months? Kind of to help us understand the needs of the client as we go through plan selection. Some other non-mandatory questions about urgent care and emergency rooms and the frequency that your client may visit those locations. If you have a special enrollment period, you can list that here. We're in open enrollment November 1st to December 15th. Anything after that would be an SEP. So for more information on that, you can call in and ask questions. But these are the most common forms of special enrollment periods. So if you do have an SEP after December 15th, you can provide that information here. Finally, there is a section here for you to provide a plan selection for the client or any kind of notes. Okay, so has the client selected a marketplace health plan? If you select yes, it's going to open up this text field where you're able to enter any kind of information that you want. If you know the name of the plan, you're welcome to put that in there. If you know just that you want Blue Options or Blue Select, you can put that information in there. It's an open text field, so you can make any notes. Be sure to enroll clients in the name of Lena plan and their spouse would like an Better plan. Whatever the note is, you can put as much as you want in there. So it's an open text field, really meant to, if you know the plan name, to just put that in there. We'll still make sure that we'll double check the doctors and prescriptions. But if you have a plan name in there, that's helpful. Finally, you'll just hit the submit button. And since I didn't go through and actually complete the assessment, you'll see these red letters. And it should be pretty clear what you're missing. I didn't go through any of this live, so it should be pretty clear. Just kind of scroll back up through. If you see any big red form entries here, those are the ones that they are missing for the form to be accepted. Once you do submit a complete application, you'll see a submission successful screen, and then an American Exchange agent will grab it, move it to your access. So your case manager should be able to, or your supervisor should be able to see the assessment in their system login by the end of the day. We're pretty good about moving them over. So kind of just to confirm that, you may just want to check with your supervisor if they can see the assessment. So I hope that was helpful. If there's any questions, feel free to email us, andrew.hetzler@americanexchange.com. You can email Wayne, wayne.gay@americanexchange.com. If you have any questions, you can also chat right here. So this will connect you to an American Exchange agent. You can type any questions in there about the assessment, or if you have any questions about any of the fields, you can type those in there. And again, the designated line at the top here, if you want to talk to someone over the phone. Thank you very much.